All right, Tim, let's do this. We're talking free agency, NFL. Please tell me
Yeah.
about what the Giants have done in the past few weeks in terms of free agency and obviously the trade. How do you feel about it?
Let's hear this.
What direction do you see your team going?
Ah,
It's painful.
yeah, I mean, you try to get over the initial shock and awe of why would you do that? How could you? For what? You try and listen to what the GM is saying, and Gelman is really he's a double talk master. That goes all the way back to Carolina when they let Josh Norman go for nothing. But we kept saying we're not going to trade Odell. We're not trading Odell. We're not trading Odell, and whoop, there you go. But we have 12 draft picks. I don't see us using them all. Mara came out today and said he was very reluctant in signing off on that trade. And I think sometimes, these owners can become a little too detached with the fan base. And sometimes, they're billionaires for a reason. I get it. But I think there's times that you need to take a step back and put out a one-page something in the newspaper or something. Be like, hey, do a poll, something. But you can't trade your best player and then sell that you guys are trying to get better. So that one's tough. I would love to see the team do some certain things, but you telling me we're gonna keep Eli, but we're gonna trade Odell, and somehow that's gonna make the team better. So free agency, we've done absolutely nothing except for lose. There's no way around that. So we're there. Personally, I think we should trade some. I think we should take a couple of second-round picks. If Arizona is seriously talking about taking Kyler Murray at number 1 and get Josh Rosen.
So let me stop.
Highly touted quarterback.
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. Let's forget. I don't even want to talk about how he is touted. I want to talk to someone in the LA market that saw him play all of his college seasons.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want you to be objective. Is Josh Rosen?
Because I'm a Trojan fan.
Okay.
So Josh Rosen, when they were playing UCLA, USC in the city, which quarterback is better, I always wanted Sam Darnold to be the better quarterback for obvious reasons. But Josh Rosen was always the more reliable quarterback. He wasn't always consistent because he couldn't stay on the field. And that's one of the things. You got to be on the field. But Sam Darnold, to me, always turned the ball over. And he reminded me so much of Eli, to where he could make some fantastic plays. But then when you needed him most, he would do something that was just boneheaded, or he just didn't read it right. He turned the ball over too much. He didn't take care of the ball enough for me. So as a USC fan, I love the fact that USC as a team was better than UCLA, and Darnold was, I guess, the man in LA. But Josh Rosen, to me, was always the more pro-ready quarterback. He had some lumps and some bumps and bruises in AZ, but I think that helps him if he does go to another team, because he was a rookie. He did play 6 or 7 games last year as a starter. He got beat up. So he can only go up from here. But, coming back to my team, if you were to get him, you would have somebody to push Eli in training camp to where Eli, their job is not secure. You know what I mean? And he's not a rookie to the point where you're like, oh, we got to put this rookie in. We're definitely tanking. We're definitely going to lose. Like, he's played in the league. He's been a professional for a year. His second year, he'll be a little bit better, and hopefully the progression is what all these teams saw, to where he was a top 10 pick, is going to pan out. But I definitely think that he was the more pro-ready quarterback when it came to Sam Darnold and him.
Okay. So you'd be willing to give up high picks If we're talking second rounders, if we're talking third rounders, those are NFL starters. You'd rather do that than say draft a quarterback, potentially maybe a Will Greer or somebody like that in the second round. Or even take Haskins with the sixth pick.
And therein lies the problem. Okay? So you want to, at this point, decide that quarterback is your need. I can run down, Laletta, who's the dude from Syracuse we had for some time. Like, we've gone through we've drafted quarterbacks in the last 5 years. None of them have touched the field. We don't know what we have. And so to all of a sudden be like, oh, now we need a quarterback, and it's to the point where now we have to take 5'10" Kyler Murray, who's dynamic. We talk about him ad nauseum here, like he's dynamic, or 6'5" Dwayne Haskins, who, quite frankly, to me looks like Jamarcus Russell Part 2. I don't want to put that on the kid because I think, he's got talent. He's a very talented player. But, when I see you at 21 and you're trying to be, a top 5, top 10 pick, I need your body to be a little bit ready. I need to see you in a little bit more of a physical specimen type situation to try and take you at number 5. You're a quarterback. You're 6'5", about 250, 60 pounds right now.
That's big.
Are you gonna get smaller? Are you mobile? Because again, I talked about this on this show before. We could have took Colin Kaepernick and saw if we're gonna bench Eli, like we bring in a mobile quarterback like Colin Kaepernick and see what him throwing a ball to Odell or handing the ball off to read option with Saquon does, to where now if you don't even have him, you're trying to move on from Eli. You take a risk with Kyler Murray because you're like, okay, we've seen this. Like, I think it's been mismanaged drastically in New York. And, I think to sell, we got all these picks. And, like, you say a second round is a starter. Yeah, a second rounder could be a bust as well.
Yeah,
we knew what we had in Odell. And so you're not guaranteed that this starter, albeit if he is a starter, is going to give you the type of production that someone like Odell will give you. I'm not a fan of taking Haskins or Kyler Murray at the number 6 pick.
So let me ask you this, Gene.
Sure.
Let me ask you this. So if you're looking at Haskins and Rosen, all right, taking of what we know of both of them now, you would regard Rosen as the better prospect. So if Rosen was in this draft, which technically he might be, okay, you would rank Rosen over Haskins. What about Murray? You think Rosen would be the best quarterback in this draft?
That's tough to say. I think it really comes down to the personnel that you have and the personnel grouping you have. I think Kyler Murray is, like I said, he's very dynamic. And I think that, if he can deliver the ball downfield and not get injured, he is a smaller, man. And I don't want to, knock him for his size because you've seen quarterbacks come in all the way back to like Doug Flutie and guys like that who have been able to play the position and play it at a high level. But I think when you look at the personnel around you, Dwayne Haskins to me is Eli, right? And we've been trying to move away from this pocket quarterback for some time now because our offensive line has been terrible. So if we don't fix the offensive line, bringing in Haskins does nothing for us, okay? If we bring in Kyler Murray with Odell and Barkley, then you're thinking, okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we do. Josh Rosen, for me, is the safest of the three right now because of the experience, because, he wasn't just a flash in the pan 1 year at UCLA. Like, Kyler Murray came out of nowhere because Baker Mayfield was there last year. Dwayne Haskins, he plays at Ohio State. I mean, they made Pryor looked like an NFL type quarterback at Ohio State. So I can't put my trust in Ohio State quarterback, right? So I'm saying for me, Josh Rosen, for what we have now, for Barkley in the backfield, we signed Golden Tate, who is a very good receiver. I think Josh Rosen, being that he has the experience, being that he's already under contract, and it is going to be a friendly contract for us to where if we got rid of Eli, look, we got a quarterback that we're not going to have to, break the bank on immediately. And that's the thing. We're trying to get cheap labor, but we're trying to get top tier players at cheap labor. And that's a problem across all of sports. You have these owners who want, they have money, they want you to be able to win, and then they want to franchise you for 2 years, and they're reluctant to do that. Like, they don't want to give, like, they want to franchise, say, a Le'Veon Bell, but they're mad because they got to give him $14.5 million when they franchise him. It's like, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
Like, either sign him long term or give this man his $14 million on a franchise tag and don't be bitter about it. But, in most situations, people want the cake. They want to eat it too. I get it. Why have cake if you're not going to eat it, right? So you want cheap labor, but you want superstars immediately. I think Josh Rosen, he already came out with a chip on his shoulder, being, the third quarterback taken instead of the top two, right? Baker Mayfield goes, and then Darnold goes, and he's thinking, I'm better than both of those guys. And then if you tell me Kyler Murray's going to come in and sight unseen, basically, haven't played it down, just 3 months ago, we didn't know if he was going to play baseball. You're going to tell me he's better than me if I'm Josh Rosen? The chip on his shoulder is probably the size of New York. I would take him with 2 second-round picks.
Okay.
I mean, you just gave up Odell for basically that.
Right.
Hey, Joe, can I pose a question?
Say that again?
Hey, Joey, can I pose a question really quick?
Yes.
Yeah.
So is it Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tim, let me ask you something. I don't know. Did you see the late night show when they had Russell Wilson and they're talking about him possibly going to New York Giants? What do you think about that as an option?
Love it. Yeah, I think we talked about it on the show, but it was, it was in passing. It wasn't, the rumors, but obviously the rumors in the NFL are real. There's smoke, there's fire. I would love for Russell Wilson to come in because he's a champion. Like, he's a champion quarterback. You know what you're getting in Russell Wilson. But I would have taken him. I would have moved mountains to get him opposed to trading Odell. Because now, like, you got Russell throwing the Golden Tate again. Like, we've seen this. We've seen this.
Did Golden Tate go back to Seattle?
No,
he
he's
went to Giants.
No.
The Giants.
He's at the Giants.
Like, he was already there and then left. So, like, I get it. It'd be, but I would definitely, to answer that question, I would definitely take that. What do you need? Like, I mean, at this point, what do you need? Do you need a first rounder? I'm using the number 17 pick.
For Russell Wilson?
And
You can have it all.
yeah.
You can have it all.
I mean,
What
yes and no. Yes and no, because Russell Wilson's number is high. And now, like, if Russell Wilson comes in, you got to cut Eli immediately.
Russell Wilson comes in,
There
we're
is
going
no
to the playoffs.
quarterback controversy or quarterback. We're not fighting this out in New York at this point. And Eli's money, he's got to go. We got to get rid of him immediately. And so, it just, there's a lot of moving parts to it. As a fan, you're like, yeah, grab him, do this. But there is money that goes into this, and you got to take the moving parts and pieces and put it all together and make it work. But if we could get Russell to do it, let Eli go, trade him, however he wants to leave New York, I'm fine with it. To me, Eli is still a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. I love him for what he did, but you can't tell me the Super Bowl he won 7 years ago is going to help me in 2019. I just can't live off of that anymore.
So
Hey, Joey, can I pose one last question? for Tim?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Tim, let me ask you this. So I don't know if you saw on the Bleacher Report, but the Bleacher Report reported that Patriots are looking at trying to get Josh Rosen. So what do you think about Josh Rosen being the heir apparent to Tom Brady?
I mean, that's Patriots doing business.
I
That's
don't,
business
I don't
as
see
usual
why
for them.
not.
They're going to try and get everybody. Like,
They got a lot of
I
picks.
wouldn't see them not trying to get Travis Kelce now that Gronk's retired. Like, So them putting a flyer in on him, why not? I mean, the way that Arizona seems to be enamored with Kyler Murray, I mean, I don't know if that's just to throw us off, but I mean, you're really doing a disservice to your quarterback, your starting quarterback right now, if you're not taking Kyler Murray. Like, you have him dangling out there to the point where you got New England trying to put in bids for your starting quarterback to replace Tom Brady. And that's the thing, like, if we was going to trade Odell, we should have given it to the Patriots last year and took all of their picks. You know, giving them to Cleveland is like, why? For Jabril Peppers? Like, but anytime the Patriots want him, you got somebody. Because the Patriots don't want you unless they can use you. And I mean use in the literal sense, use you. Because when the Patriots are done with you,
To the last drop.
Eli would have been cut 4 years ago. They might have cut him 2 years after he won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Real talk.
So if
you know, if they want you, they still feel like you have value.
Go ahead, Jason.
Tim, question for you. So you're the Giants GM. You're in the front office somewhere in there. Is your first concern a quarterback, or is your first concern the offensive line?
It has to be offensive line. The problem is that we have so many holes at this point because, you know, we mishandled and mismanaged, situations. We let Landon Collins go. We should have traded him last year. If you really did not plan on franchising him, which you came out and said they didn't even talk to me during the year, so the writing was on the wall for him. If you weren't going to franchise him, which, you know, for what he got paid for, good for him for getting it, he's not worth $84 million. I talked to you guys about this. He was out of position 71% of the time. That was a stat that they came up with for safety. I saw him personally lose. And I know it's tough to put it on one guy, but I saw him personally lose 4 games for us last year because he was getting burnt by his man. He was out of position on help. And while he can make some dynamic plays, and while he's a big hitter, he was a liability to give somebody like that $84 million. To franchise him at 12, 13, you might as well go ahead and sign him long term if you're going to do that. So if you're not going to do any of that, you trade him and get pieces. And he did not do that. So essentially, he walked for free, creating another hole for it.
All right, fellas, we gotta move on.